Hello. Welcome to Divine Honey Podcast. I'm your host, your friend, Tamika Johnson. This show is about human experiences. This includes thought provoking conversations, and most importantly, our Divine Honey guest sharing stories about love, life, journey, and purpose. If you're watching live or watching on the replay and you feel inspired, show some love in the chat, comments, questions, engagement is more than welcome. So, welcome everyone, and I thank you all for tuning in on this Sunday. I know everybody's busy and calming down from the weekend, but today is actually my first time doing a solo talk live streaming. I usually do them on Spotify and I do them on Apple. I'll do a solo, but I have never streamed it before. So this is my first time. So I'm excited. So today I wanted to have a discussion. So the discussion is, why do we procrastinate? Now, the reason why I chose this topic is because I, by all means, am a chronic procrastinator. um, I don't do it in work and job because I think there's consequences linked to that. And there's trauma that's bonded to my stability, and my job is creates my stability in my mind. So I think there's some trauma with that where I don't procrastinate. But in my personal life, I tend to procrastinate. So I wanted to kind of build an episode, kind of looking high level, why, and ways we can identify that and talk about that, and different types of procrastination, and ways we can now, these aren't like big things, but it gets us started, of course. So the big thing is, what is procrastination? So procrastination, by all definition, is an act of unnecessarily postponing decisions and actions. Procrastination, guys, is not laziness. It's a behavior caused by stress in our lives. Um, it can be things, negative talk that we say to ourselves, beliefs about ourselves, that causes procrastination. It can be chronic, but it's not a mental disorder, but it has been linked to and associated to mental disorders such as anxiety and depression and ADHD. So when you're suffering with those things, procrastination for many reasons can come along with that. There is a professor at university, the DePaul University in Chicago. He said of the US American adults have chronic procrastination. You guys, that's 1 in 5. 1 in 5 people are suffering from or having chronic procrastination. So I asked a few friends, why do they procrastinate? And some people said it was fear, trauma, and laziness came up again, which I think procrastination and laziness has come together by society. I think it's deeper than that. So I asked some of you, why do you think you procrastinate? And hey, Brittany Rideout, if you can put in there, why do you think you procrastinate? Even if you do procrastinate. So I think for me, the reason why I procrastinate in my personal life, I do think it goes back to some childhood trauma. Or so I grew up in a time where children are to be seen and not heard. Remember, different actions affect different children differently. Children, for me, it was children are to be seen, not heard. You don't speak up, you don't explain yourself, you can't give explanations. So I learned to be mute. I was very shy, extremely shy. And I actually want to do an episode on shyness, chronic shyness, because it's debilitating. So now when you go out into the world, you're a young person, middle school, and I was scared to be around people. So for me, being kind of told to be quiet, know your place, I internalized it as I wasn't good enough, I didn't speak right, I didn't articulate right. So I tend to be quiet. So when I get involved in things that are uncomfortable, such as sometimes presenting, I'm getting better at it, and I obviously do this show, but it's been a long road. But I became uncomfortable, anxious, and you don't want that feeling, so you push it away. So anything that you're uncomfortable with, you're going to push it away and do later, or things you don't like. So that's one of the reasons why I tend to procrastinate in my personal life. So why do we all procrastinate? I did bring up trauma, so everybody has different things that's been triggered. A situation or a task or something can trigger them to procrastinate, due ties back to trauma. Another thing is procrastination is a form of stress relief. This comes from, she's a motivational speaker and author. Her name is Mel Robbins. She has a book called The 5-Second Rule. So check that out. I'll put a link in for that. But she said procrastination is a form of stress relief. Like, she gave a great example. Like, if you're at work and you have to do a task that you do not want to do, you might turn on a cat video. But then you're watching cat videos for 2 hours. You're finding relief in whatever that activity of procrastination that you're doing. So I totally can relate to that, because I like to get on TikTok when I don't want to do something that I need to be doing. Another thing is lack of abilities. If you don't believe that you have the ability to do things, or you feel like you're not good at them, you're not going to want to do them, and you're going to push it off later. But I think someone needs to hear this, that you do have the ability. Whatever you're doing in your job, you're there for a reason, or things that you want to do personally, like be a writer, entrepreneur, whatever your desire is. Just because it doesn't look like what somebody else is doing or how they're doing it, it seems great and you seem like you're lacking, your ability is there. You just have to keep at it and build that esteem within inside you. Somebody needs to hear it. You do have the ability. Fear of failure. Fear of failure is a big one, because who wants to fail? Who wants to feel bad about themselves, to feel like they're not capable or able? But failure only builds you up for success. We know that. If you fail at something, you learn how to do it better. But failure, that fear of failure, usually makes us procrastinate. We don't want to deal with it. Another thing is fear of success. You can be very fearful of being successful, because now you might have more responsibility. You have to hold on to that success, or you feel like you have to overcompensate. Fear of success. Maybe you've never even seen success before, and this is the first time that you're able to have it. It can be fearful. It can be scary. So, like, if you're supposed to be writing that book, you might be afraid that it might be successful. Then you got to write another book. But there's another book called Return to Love from Marianne Williamson, and she has like a really great quote. She says, "Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be?" I love that quote, because sometimes we are afraid of our own light, maybe because it seems out of reach. Of course, anxiety, depression, all those things can also cause procrastination. Now, I'm not a doctor or all those things, but also when you're talking to your doctor, tell them all the things that you're feeling. If procrastination is one of those things, bring that up, because it could be another issue. Get blood work. It really could be you're tired. And Black women, we have vitamin D deficiency. Check your iron. Your procrastination could be due to some type of depression, ADHD. It could be a lot of things. So when you're talking to your doctor, it seems like it's not worth bringing that up, but you should definitely bring that up. Distraction. Whatever, there could be people, places, things that are distracting you. You need to sit down and evaluate that and maybe eliminate some things or add some things in your life. But you really have to kind of do a little soul searching on that. And then also things we don't enjoy doing or we're not interested in, we tend to procrastinate. And that's fine. There's some things we're going to have to push through and we have to do. That's just life. But I want you guys to know that it's okay to say no. Sometimes we take on things we really don't have to take on. You can say no, thank you. That'll save you a lot of trouble. But we do got a couple comments. So let's take a look. All right. Okay. All right, Brittany. So I asked earlier, does she procrastinate? Brittany says, yes, I do procrastinate. I get too comfortable and I think it can get completed in a different way. Excuse me. Get completed in a different day. Time isn't always on our side, so I have gotten better with handling my business in a timely manner. You know, girl, as we're getting older, y'all, some of us are headed towards the 40 club. And so we're learning time is not on our side. We just gotta handle business. And me and Brittany talk about this all the time. We gotta handle business. Okay. Let me get another one. Okay, that's a key at heart. Yes, mental health definitely can impact procrastination. 100% and I've been there. I've been very depressed. You don't want to do nothing. So I made another video on TikTok talking about I don't feel like doing nothing. I don't feel like doing nothing. No motivation. Someone wrote in the comments, and this is fact. They wrote, there could be something deeper than that. You got to think what's going on. There was a little something deeper with me. I just talked about that 40 club. You know, turning 40 was great, the big 4-0. Turning 41, I'm like, I'm in this now. And I start a little right after I turned 40. I was depressed for some weeks. I was really down. I had no motivation. And it was just the fear of just getting older and just time has gone so fast. So that's why I want to tackle this thing called procrastination, because I got to handle business, right? So yes, mental health is a big thing. Please talk to your doctor. If you're feeling different, if your routine is different, please mention it. And guys, get blood work. Get blood work. Oh, a key at heart, she said, got another one for us. So just that okay, yes, that was just what I told my doctor. And I learned that my adrenals were shot and my thyroid. Always tell people to get their hormones checked. Yes. I just want to get the stigma of like laziness out the way. I think it's just very harmful. Yes, like deep cleaning the house, 100%. So we have another comment. Okay, Sheba 1121. Yes, I can relate to fear of success, which caused to be procrastinated in applying for my new position. Yes. You know, when we're trying to look for a new job and it's time. It's time for that promotion. It's time for new beginnings. It's time to leave what you were doing. It's fearful. You got to go through the interview process. You got to do all that. You have to say all the right things. You have the abilities, or it wouldn't be time for you to elevate. But then once you're there, right, you're going to get the job, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to get the job, and now you got to perform, and you're scared maybe you're not adequate. And a lot of us have imposter, especially with, I don't know if you're in corporate America or whatever, but in like corporate America, I know for me as a Black woman, that imposter syndrome comes in for me sometimes. Like, I know what I'm doing, but I'm second guessing myself, So I understand the procrastination in that area. So yes, thank you for your comments. So something I did not know. There's 4 types of procrastinators. I did not know this. So the first one is I work well under pressure. And a key at heart, she is my sister-in-law. Her name is Brian. And actually, my brother, we were talking about this today. He said I work well under pressure. And that is basically the procrastinator forces themselves to focus by shrinking the time they have to tackle a situation. Um, Everyone does that for a different reason. I was speaking to my brother Tim, and he said basically he has confidence in his abilities. So basically, it's outlined in his head what he's going to do. It's some thought, but then he tackles it at the last hour because I guess his confidence level. I have no clue, but I'm kind of that too. We're similar. We're siblings, but mine's a different. I don't sometimes believe in my abilities, and that's why I'm doing it at the last minute because I'm forced to like do it, and I actually do it and it's fine, but I don't think you can sustain that forever. And it's actually stressful for me. So the biggest challenge for I work well under pressure is getting started. More of the solution is giving yourself a start date, focusing on starting instead of getting it done. So number two, the self-deprecator who says, I'm so lazy right now. And we just talked about that. It may not be as lazy, it's probably you're tired. That goes back to look at your mental health, look at your sleeping habits, look at your energy levels. The biggest challenge, like those people will work, and don't give themselves breaks, but they're not getting things done. So the biggest challenge for them, the I'm too lazy right now, is taking a break. And the solution is they need to find ways to recharge themselves. And that may be checking hormones, getting rest, going for walks. That would be something. Now we're booked. Everyone who had so much going on, they overbooked. But when it came to whatever they had going on with you, it was put on the back burner. It can be they're avoiding, maybe what they're working with you is something that isn't pleasant for them. So the excuse is, oh, I got so much going on. Sorry. For them, the solution for them is to take a look. The challenge for them is to not create chaos because being overbooked and having all this, and you're not organized, it creates chaos. So that would be the challenge. But the solution is taking a look at what are you avoiding, keeping yourself overly booked and busy. And then the novelty seeker, the person that has, I have an idea. Now, have you worked with someone that has like 50 million ideas? Okay, for me, I get overwhelmed by that. I'm one thing at a time. But some people can multitask, or can they? Because it's been proven we're really not good multitaskers, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But this person will have a lot of ideas in the air, but their challenge is completion. So what their solution would be is write down those ideas, but go back to put it on a sticky note. When you're done with one task, then revisit it. Complete, start, complete. Yes. So the next thing is really how to overcome procrastination. There's no easy answer. I mean, I don't even know because obviously I haven't overcome it, but I think the first step is awareness. We're talking about it. I know where I lack at. I know why. And just having conversations like this, that's the first step. And figuring out why. You can't do something if you don't know why. And sometimes that's not an easy answer to find. Establish a routine will help. I have a great morning routine, horrible night routine. By having a routine, like example, let's say you're writing a book. Set aside 2 hours, a certain time of the day. Know yourself when you're more alert, when, 2 hours a day, I'm going to do this. Whatever it looks like in that 2 hours, that's my routine. And as you do better in that routine, you can change it, tweak it, increase it. I say start small, make small lists, make small goals. I think sometimes we bite off more than we can chew, and we can't. I'll give an example. For me, I have all these ideas, all these things I need to do, but sometimes I need to just start little and just start. I used to make all these to-do lists and it'd be like 20 things on them, and I'm trying to complete them in one day. It's not. Got to start small. Maybe start with completing one thing. Then you get good at one, bump it up to two. So start small. Of course, focusing on starting, not finishing. You got to start to finish. And sometimes we get overwhelmed looking at the end. So I would say focus on starting and not finishing. Because you will finish. You have to start to finish. And the great thing is having an accountability partner. If having great friendships or having a tribe, even just one other person, two other people, having an accountability partner. Like if you want to lose weight, every day you say, I want to go for a walk. Find somebody who wants to do walks with you. Or look, we're in the world of technology. Now you can video chat with your friend while you walk. And you just hold each other accountable. But sometimes we don't tell people what's going on with us because we don't want to be held accountable. So having an accountability partner. Of course, health, this is just mentioned a lot about health, like taking care of yourself, getting that blood work, getting that hormones checked, talking to your doctor, just really taking care of your mental health and your physical health helps with procrastination. I also wanted to go back to the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. And I said she was a motivational speaker, and I read that book, The 5-Second Rule. Oh, and she also did a TED Talk about procrastination. So look her up. I'm going to put some stuff in the chat, some links in the chat. But what's interesting about this book, she was a very successful woman, but she was very disorganized and everything was chaotic. And then she kind of lost everything and had to start over again. And the one thing, the book leads up to this 5-second rule. It's very simple. I'll give the example. Your alarm goes off. The first thing you want to do is hit snooze. Well, you would turn the alarm off and you would say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One, you would shoot up like a rocket and do whatever you were supposed to do. So after this, let's say if I was supposed to go do dishes, I click off. I know I need to do dishes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shoot up like a rocket. Go do it. The book was good, but I don't think I implemented it. But I'm going to try to. That is my goal. And I would say it's all about just taking the first step. Watch, I'm about to hit y'all with a Martin Luther King quote because I like it. Faith is taking the first step, even if you don't see the whole staircase. Let me get another comment. Okay, just the key at heart. Oh, my to-do list used to be a page long. Haha. Yeah, mine did too. And and then when you don't complete everything, you're very hard on yourself. So I've been there. But yes, just know that we're all dealing with procrastination. I think the first thing is awareness, and find yourself an accountability partner and really dig deep as to why you're procrastinating. And I will keep you updated on my procrastination because I have personal goals and I need to overcome fear of failure and fear of success and know I have the abilities. And I want you guys to know you have the ability to. And I thank you guys so, so much for, joining in on a Sunday and just listening to this topic. And if you enjoy this conversation, please subscribe and hit that notification button. You do not want to miss another episode of Divine Honey Podcast. If you can also listen to me, I will also be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And those links are in the About section in my YouTube page. And then if you're interested in being a guest on Divine Honey Podcast, or you know anyone, please, or you have topics that you would like for me to discuss or, people to discuss on the show, just please email me at bougiegirl@gmail.com. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for joining in. And I appreciate the comments and being interactive. So, of course, just email. You can email me just to say hi. So, all right. Until next time, you guys, peace and blessings. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.